So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is with you beautiful people. Just wanted to touch base and start speaking about the Chicago Bears. What's going to happen there? No announcements, been very quiet there. Um, Nothing seems to be leaked. No one really knows what's going on. Going into the Green Bay game, Eberflus, safe. Now it seems a bit more like 50-50 whether he's safe or not. So I just want to delve into it. And if it's not Eberflus, who is it? So for me, I think there's a couple of options. Personally, I've always said I stick with Eberflus. I think at the end of the season, we saw it. The players played for him. The defense is humming, is doing well, and I think that given another opportunity, he's going to smash it. I think he needs to get the offense sorted, and with that, I think he needs a new OC. Um, but I don't see any reason why he should go. Now, obviously, now I've said that, he's probably going to go. So we'll get into some candidates in a little bit. But what does he do then if he stays? What's he going to do? Um, and that's where I think Getty needs to go. Getty needs to go, no matter what. Whether they stick with just Justin Fields or whether they get another quarterback in. Now everyone seems to think it's Caleb Williams, but I don't think it's a sure thing. It's Caleb Williams. I don't know. But that's another discussion. But I personally, for now anyway, stick with Justin Fields. I think he did enough to prove himself. I think you need to build a team around him. And I think if you build a team around him, I think Chicago can be a force moving forward. Don't think we see the best of Eberflus yet. I think he deserves another chance. I know most people think he doesn't deserve. Get him out and get other people in, but sometimes that's not always the answer. I think if you speak to the players, I've not really heard anybody say anything bad about him. I think most people want to play for him. They see him when he's mic'd up and stuff. The players love him. So I don't think it's a question of whether players want to play with him or not. I think they do. I think he needs to play, make the calls in the defense next year. He'll obviously have a DC in, but he needs to make the calls. I think until he can, transform it over to the new DC. But he needs to get a proper OC in, and that's where I think it gets interesting. I think for me, a prime candidate if you can get him is Arthur Smith. Now, a lot of people don't like Arthur Smith because of what he did with the Falcons. Didn't really end the best way for him with the Falcons, but I like him. I always look back at what he did with Tennessee with basically nothing. Can you imagine what he could do with Justin Fields? He's never really had a quarterback. If you think about it, he hasn't. Not with the Titans or with the Falcons. Tannehill, he'll do, but he's not like top quality quarterback. And then you go in Desmond Ritter, you know. So I don't think he's taking all the blame for that. But Terry Fontenot, I think he needs to take some blame. I'm shocked that they didn't get rid of him as well. But anyway, that's a different story. So if I were Matt Eberflus, I would be on the phone now getting Arthur Smith over there for an interview and see what he can bring. Because I think it'll take him at least 2-3 more years to get any kind of head coaching gig or potential head coaching gig. So because of that, there's going to be some foundation there. Like if you get a really good OC in, normally they're gone within a year or so, potentially for a head coaching position. With Arthur Smith, I think if he does really well, great, but I still don't think he'll get a head coaching position straight away. I think he'll have to wait a couple of years before he gets that opportunity. That's why I think he'd be quite good to get that foundation. He can have full control over the offense. I think that will work well. That would be my number one option. However, we all know that never works out. So I then think that the only, well, I say two. I think it's only two plausible candidates that he could really get rid of Eberflus and then start from scratch. And I think there's only two candidates for Chicago Bears because I don't see who else you bring in. I don't see them as an upgrade for the team. I think these two are upgrades. People go on about Ben Johnson and stuff. He's not proven. He feels more experienced than Ben Johnson. Now, yeah, he's done well with Goff. I mean, he's done very, very well with Goff. But again, he's not really proven as a head coach or anything. So just because he did well with Goff, he's now going to spread that across the whole team. So I don't always agree. Not everyone's a Sean McVay, or Kyle Shanahan and all that. I'm not saying he won't be a good head coach, but I don't think he's an upgrade. I think he'd be an upgrade for the offense, but I think he'd put any OC in there as an upgrade for the offense. So you've got that element. I think there's only two candidates, and that's Jim Harbaugh, who I do not think is leaving Michigan. From what he said something about he's going to push spring training forward, so to March instead of February. So I don't think Jim will leave college football. He's on a high. People say that the only way is down, but I mean, he's still on a high. So I think that he will stay where he is in Michigan. Good old Jimmy boy. That leaves for me because he would be a top candidate. I think he'd be the number one candidate if you could get him. Then Kevin Warren. If you can get him over, it's slam dunk. You just take it. There's no ifs or buts about it. But I just don't think it's happening. So the other candidate, one more candidate, who I'm shocked that he is even available. That's Vrabel from Titans. Now he's obviously gone now, so I think Vrabel's coming to Chicago would be a very, very, very good get. So if I were you, if I was Chicago, I'd very much consider him. He's a player's coach. He'll get that. What he's got over Eberflus is, yeah, he's got defense mind, but he's also got loads of experience. I think he knows how to manage a team. I think he gets blamed, obviously, for the losing season, but he does not essentially doesn't have overall roster control. So I think him getting in there would be a massive, massive plus side for the Bears. But again, you need to be sure that you can get it. That's where a trade scenario would have been perfect, but you just don't know now. He's probably going to do most of the jobs. I think Chicago is one of the most appealing ones. If I'm being honest, I think it is very appealing for any head coach. So I think if they can get him, I think he's an upgrade as well. Again, I think defense-wise, I'm not sure what he'll do. Probably bring his own team in there. Offense, again, I can see him pick up the phone to Arthur Smith and be like, "Hey, Arthur, let's build what we did with the Titans over with the Chicago Bears. Come join me." I think that Braves has got that reputation that he can do that. Well, I don't think Arthur Smith is going to get another head coaching position for a few more years. I think Vrabel is going to get it if he wants it this year. It's typically all depends on where he wants to go. Now, I don't even know if you want to go to Chicago. I think that he'd probably have his eye on. People seem to think the Patriots, but I don't think he's damned if he goes, damned if he does, damned if he doesn't with the Patriots. Because the legacy that's built there, no matter what he does, he's never going to be known as the best head coach in Patriots history. That's always going to be Belichick. Whereas he could potentially go to, I think the people going to go after him are Washington. I don't think he's interested in Panthers, Raiders, and the Chargers, depending on where we are with the Chargers. But I think the best fit, I think Chicago will be an excellent fit for him, I think, for Vrabel. I think it'd be an absolute slam dunk fit for him. They got a really, really good defense. Just needs that OC, which could be Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith's got, Justin Fields. He's not proven with. I think Justin Fields is a proper quarterback in the league. I don't think for me Tannehill never was, but Justin Fields he's a top 32 quarterback. So I think it'd be interesting to see what he does with Justin Fields. Now, obviously, when they come in, they could take one of the other quarterbacks stuff. That'd be up to them. Do you know what I mean? What they do there. but that's another discussion. But I think for me that would be exciting. But as I say, I would stick with Eberflus number one. I don't think Harbaugh will come. So then the other option was Rabel. I don't think there's another head coach I would put in there. There's obviously a lot of talented head coaches, which I'll speak about in other videos. But for me, you can't get Harbaugh or Rabel. You stick with Eberflus. I think those are the conversations Kevin Warren's having at the minute. Can he entice Jim from Michigan to come over? He's probably tapping him up on the phone now. And the answer to that is I don't think he can. Don't think he can. A few years ago, maybe, not now. And from that, stick with Eberflus unless you can get Vrabel. But with Vrabel, you're rolling the dice because you can get a shit ton of offers. He could be offered, probably for every position. He's not going to do 4 positions because there's no way he'll want the Panthers. No way. I mean, but that's another video. But yeah, so there we are. I think stick with Eberflus unless you can get Vrabel or Harbaugh. There we are. Please like and subscribe, especially like and subscribe because try to build this channel from nothing. There's 2 of us here, myself and Mikey Me, are trying to build this. He's a big Detroit fan, so that's why I'm covering some of the Chicago stuff because it's in his league, but he's very much a staunch Detroit Lions fan. So with that, thank you very much for your time, and yeah, over and out. See you later. Ta.